Well, good morning. I'll do y'all like we do the children sometime. Good morning. We're here at the beautiful downtown McComb Public Library where we have some distinguished guests this morning for a program. We're going to give you a book review this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We call it Sharing of Our Shelves. This morning we have two guests, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and I'm going to interview them. Introduce yourself, madam.
Dianne Havard.
Dianne Havard. Miss Dianne, where were you from originally?
Originally from Jackson, Mississippi.
Woohoo! Jackson, Mississippi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Dianne. Now, Miss Dianne, you love to read, I understand.
Oh, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Dianne, tell me a little short thing about yourself. Don't tell that you got a traffic ticket or anything like that. Just good stuff, okay?
Well, I taught school for over 40 years, and I think that
What grade did you teach?
I taught all grades from first grade through 8th grade.
Well, that's nice. See, I didn't know that about you. That was great.
After all these years, you didn't know
Yeah,
it.
I know it, and you still look so pretty and in control of yourself after 40 years.
Well, thank you.
Okay. All right, of course, you know my name is Miss Betty. I'm the elderly person here at the library. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Okay, I'm Nancy Holmes.
And Miss Nancy, you have quite a history on yourself too. What did you do?
Let's see, I taught for 42 years, Diane. Let's see, anywhere from I think my lowest grade was 4th grade, and then I taught all the way up through postgraduate at Southwest Community College.
Yay! So we have some distinguished teachers, retired teachers this morning, and I just survived kindergarten. So that's it.
Big.
I was lucky enough to have kindergarten in the days when it was monkey business, and it was so much fun. I tell them I don't think I could get a job as a custodian in the kindergarten business now, but I sure had a fine time then. Well, ladies, we are so glad that y'all are reading.
Thank you.
And y'all are now. Are you coming to the lunch club? We're trying to get a book club started. Are you coming to that?
I've been coming to the book club.
Great. We're so tickled about that because that seems to be the way that things are going nowadays. You bring your lunch and everybody's assigned you reading a certain book, and you come to the library and bring your lunch, and then everybody discusses the book. Have a little discussion. So that's a new way of doing. I understand that they have a lot of home discussion groups like that, and it's always fun to know what somebody else thinks about a book, and it brings new thoughts into you. So we're going to start with you, Diane. Tell us something that you read and enjoyed.
All right. First of all, I want to give you some words of wisdom that I have gotten from this book, and I want you to remember them as I talk about it. Be careful of who you let in. The mystery novel that I read is The Family Upstairs by New York Times best-selling British author Lisa Jewell. This was one of the books that was recommended on our list from the book club. It was released in November 2019 in the United States. I previously read another of Lisa Jewell's books, but this one now definitely is my favorite. According to the author, this is a story of 3 people. The first one is Libby. Libby is 25 and lives in a modest flat in London and sells kitchens for a living. Lucy, the second character, she is a 40-year-old single mother of 2, and she plays the fiddle on the streets for money in the south of France. Henry, the third one, tells about a family who came to stay in a dark way many years before. And these were all things that the author actually told about the book in an interview. The story begins with a very familiar classic mystery protagonist who inherits a multi-million-dollar mansion in the Chelsea neighborhood of London. Libby was found as a 10-month-old baby in the house. And along with this, she learns who her birth parents were and also about their deaths. The investigators determined that the deaths were a suicide pact. At this time, there were 2 older siblings who went missing also. As Libby looks into the circumstances of their lives, their deaths, and disappearances, she discovers many dark secrets from her past. Remember, she was only 10 months old at the time that she was taken away from all of this. The Family Upstairs is an addicting domestic thriller about family identity and the dark side of charisma with an intimate family secret and conspiracies. The plot has many twisty turns, and most of them I never even expected. So please remember, be careful of who you let in.
Remember that now. Don't let anybody you don't know real good in. When do you read?
Usually before I go to sleep at night.
I think that's most everybody's. Until you get up my age, if I try to read, I'm going to go.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
But that's when I usually do read, is at night.
Did it end good? Did it have a pretty good ending?
Yes, it had a very unique ending. It was different than anything I had expected or anything I have ever read before.
It has some surprises in it.
Oh, quite a
don't
few.
you love a book that just, and you're like, well, I hadn't thought of that.
Mysteries and thrillers are my favorites.
Yeah,
They are my
you know, I
favorites.
think that's probably everything. I really do. But I like one that winds up and they all live happily. And
This one was on our book list to read, but due to coronavirus, we never did get to all of them that we were going to read, but I checked it out and I read it anyway, so because I recognized the author's
And
name.
you like that
and I
author.
liked it, yeah.
Isn't that funny
So
how
we
you-
never actually got to discuss this one in our book club.
And you know, it's just always really interesting, well, you like an author, and then we'll have people come in the library all the time, you know, and they'll say, I wanna read something else by so-and-so, I like them so much.
I do
like
that.
their way of doing it. Some of them just have the most marvelous way with words,
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
Some of them are very good writers, but some people just have a way with words that's just absolutely delightful. Well, all right, you see, how about you?
Okay, let's see, another one that we read in the book club was the 2013 The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, and it's by Gabrielle Zevin. But I like the book. It's a type that has it all. I laughed out loud several places, and but it had a lot of tragedy in it as well, a lot of drama.
Did you cry?
I did.
No, but I was,
did.
I was kind of upset.
I was the crier.
It was very upsetting, one part of it. Well, I'll tell y'all about that. Okay, primarily it's about AJ. He owns a bookstore, and Amelia, she's a sales rep for the book company that sells to him. And Maya is an abandoned child. She was abandoned when she was a baby in the bookstore. So it just so happens after AJ took her, he called the police and he took her in, and they said that the social worker or the human services would not be until like Monday. So he said, well, I'll take her in. He felt like and you know what happens then. He wants to keep her. He kept her to that Monday, and then he wants to adopt her. Okay, and so it seems like he feels a void in his life. He was a widower, and he was just very work, and that was about it, really. So she was good for him, as well as he was good for her. But anyway, several events in the book. There's a stolen, valuable book, several tragedies, as I stated. Some topics that were kind of interesting were the e-books, e-readers. They discussed that a little bit, and online dating was mentioned a little bit. But a couple of my favorite characters, I guess my favorite character was one of the minor characters, Lambas. He was a policeman who first met AJ when he did the report on the stolen book. He came and talked to AJ about the book that was stolen early in the story. And also later on, when the baby was abandoned, he came and did the report on the baby, Maya. He becomes good friends with AJ and becomes an avid reader, and therefore a better cop. He becomes a better policeman by reading, you know. And he even started a book club for law enforcement.
Yay.
I thought that was really neat. And
they send that down to
yeah, it becomes a rowdy bunch. It sounded like a few times they got kind of rowdy, you know, discussions got kind of rowdy.
That was a unique one.
Yeah, really. Okay, and then Maya, she's the baby who was abandoned, and it tells one of the saddest parts in the book. It tells about her mom, who was very smart. She was and a good athlete. She got a scholarship to an Ivy League school, and but she just did not have any support, parental support. I think she went through the foster system, I believe, and it was just heartbreaking how she ended up. She's the one that left the baby at the bookstore, Maya. So that was just heartbreaking to me. So, but anyway, and then Amelia and AJ, of course, are they eventually become a couple, and they raise Maya. And AJ teaches Maya the principles to live by. He'll read books with her, and they'll discuss them. And at one point, Maya speculates, and this is a quote: "Your whole life is determined by what store you get left in."
Oh, how darling.
That was kind of a unique. Your whole life.
That's a good thing to read.
Yeah, your whole life is determined by what store you get left in. So, okay, and then at the end of the book, there's a new store owner that comes in, and a new sales rep, and life goes on.
That was good. Yeah, y'all.
I enjoyed it. It was
That was so good. Yeah, all right, now tell the name again and your author again of your book.
Mine was The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell.
Okay, and yours was?
The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin.
Very good. Well, you know, talking about writing and how sometimes some of the authors are just, their writing is so beautiful. The old book, I think they made a movie out of it, was that Sarah Plain and Talk. Do you remember that? And by Patricia McLaughlin. I think the writing in that was one of those beautiful writings at the very beginning of it. She just painted the most beautiful picture. And it's just, you love to see somebody who's just so marvelously talented with their writing. We just appreciate y'all coming so much, and we hope that all of you out there listening will enjoy this. And you know, the virus has just, of course, made us just think of new ways to do things, and we miss our patrons coming in and our being able to gather together. And this is through the absolute magic of the computer. We can get together and just sit at home and get yourself a cup of coffee, and you can stay in your bathrobe. Just sit there and enjoy it. Laura and I just laughed at somebody, an older person said, "Well, the other morning I didn't have anything to do. I got me a cup of coffee to sit down and watch Story Hour." I told Laura, I said, "Yay!" But anyway, we're just delighted for y'all to be here. And Laura is always cooking up cute things, her and Scooter Mouse, and she sent me out to the corn patch this morning to get something she and Scooter had cooked up for y'all.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just so delightful and so charming. Pull the corn off there, Laura, and pop it in there. These are so darling. Laura can come up with some of the most adorable things, but this is a little magnet for you, the refrigerator. And of course, right in the theme of the scarecrow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Scooter.
I tell Miss Laura to tell Scooter. And y'all tell everybody goodbye. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye-bye.